afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am half the Scotts. I'm Scott Steehn, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over winnersandwhiners.com.
We get together every day, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Try to guide you in that journey to head back to the window. Scott, do you feel any different? Just Max Wagers Network? Do you feel less winner and winery today?
No, I feel more max wagerish, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel you.
Has your unit size increased as we made this transition?
I'm close to max wagers now, buddy.
Okay, I'm close, like 75% max wagers.
Yeah. I've got to leave a little something before I hit it to the pegs. But yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks everybody for joining us. Andrew says Studio B. That's right, over here in Studio B, man. JC Stone says, are we in the max wagers room? Yes. Rises one, group hug. Oh, very nice, JC. G Money, what up, G Money? Good to see you. Let's make some money. I'm all about it. Joan S. Happy Monday to you, Joan. Good to see you. Scott, I know your Belmont didn't go maximally. You had too many max wagers there. How'd the rest of your weekend go?
Overall, it was fine. The UFC fight killed me because I had Yuri by knockout and Teixeira by submission. I had about 30 chances apiece, and we're going to talk about the results of that match in a little while, but it didn't go too well for me.
Yes.
Besides that, NASCAR show, I know that we kind of grade things differently, but the way that I grade them, I made 1.66 units, so I had a nice NASCAR day. Besides that, no, we're just looking forward to some NBA Finals action. The Rangers lost, so other New York fans can get off my back, which is great. And yeah, overall can't fully complain. I still had fun at the Belmont. It was actually kind of funny because I basically broke even because I prepared for Belmont by betting on a random race in Gulfstream.
Yeah.
And I won.
Okay.
So I basically just took the winnings from that and just shelled it out to lose in Belmont.
Keeping it in the home state. Very good.
There you go.
JR Black says, like Cedric the Entertainer said, you guys going to the moon. I'm going to the moon. Follow the great Scots everywhere. Love it. Love it. You know what? I ran into Cedric the Entertainer. I did a contest in St. Louis. He's a St. Louis guy, and it was one of these things where you did it in a theater, and you did it like at 2:00 in the afternoon. You were just trying to audition for the finals, so it's an audience of all fucking comics. It is the absolute worst crowd time surroundings you could ever pick up. And Cedric the Entertainer took the stage, and he made everybody laugh. He made everybody, because comics. They'll sit in a crowd, they'll see something funny, and they'll turn to their guy that's sitting next to them and go, that's funny. But very rarely will they laugh out loud. And Cedric the Entertainer was fucking laugh out loud funny. He did a Keith Jackson impression. Remember Keith Jackson? Hello, everybody. Keith Jackson. And he did it, and he talked about
Granddaddy of them all?
Right. He talked about, when you're out there eating crackers, you got to have a ha-ho. Everything tastes better on a ha-ho. And I'll never forget that to this day. So Cedric the Entertainer, good guy, funny guy. Nice reference, J.R. Black. All right, very good.
I heard he's an entertainer.
He is. By the way, he made the finals. I did not. So, again, tough crowd. I blame it on the crowd.
Because he made the finals, of course, he was the temporary host of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Skip everything in between. That's how it went.
Good times indeed. James Mounts is here. Andrew's here. Big X in the house. So yeah, there was a lot of funky stuff that went on, man. Not just us moving to the Max Wagers Network. By the way, don't forget, while you're here at the Max Wagers Network, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, if you're just still dating, if you haven't made that commitment to the Max Wagers Network, it's time to put a ring on it. That's what I'm saying to you. Make sure you get subscribed. Hit that bell. Ring my bell. Hit that bell.
Also, you can tell some people, because I'm sure even though we've announced it all week long, some people still don't know that we're only on the Max Wagers Network from this point forward.
That's right.
So don't be afraid to tell a friend.
No, they're out there. So make sure that you hit the bell, get notified every time we go live and put up brand new content. That's fun. A lot of great shows. Max Wagers Network, noon. Midday Money, Sean Higgs. 1:00, Allie Burns. Morning Wood. 2:00, me and Chris. 3:00, me and Scott. 4:00, it is Sean Miller talking about soccer, F1, all those European stuff, kind of sports. He's doing that at 4, and then at 5:00, it's Detroit Lenny and the Earl brothers, the very depressed Earl brothers right now, doing Game Time Decision. East Carolina, Scott, not moving on.
Explain to me how Texas is favored to win the championship now.
Cannot. I can't. Well, I mean,
I know Oregon State's still technically playing
because Tennessee's out.
I get it.
Virginia Tech's
are
out.
playing Notre Dame second round. Does it go seeding or no?
What's that?
I'm assuming since Texas was the 8 and since Tennessee was the 1, they're going to be playing Notre Dame in the next round, right? Or is it scrambled?
I don't know if they. I don't know. I can't remember how they set that up. I do know I'm kind of happy that East Carolina didn't win, only because Nick wasn't going to come, or Tim wasn't going to come anyway. But I looked at tickets because I thought about going up there this weekend. You know what, like a decent ticket is?
$150.
Like $225.
Okay. All right.
I'm not sure.
Unfortunately, New York doesn't have any teams that I know of besides Long Island who get absolutely buried in the they lost by like 30 runs in each game. But all I know is I had Arkansas 25-1, and they're down to 8.5.
Yep.
So
that's good.
Hold.
That's good value.
Hold.
That's good value.
We'll see what happens.
Andrew says Stanford is still alive, and I believe it was Andrew that was on the Stanford bus from the beginning, right? Andrew was extolling the virtues of Stanford.
They're not officially advanced yet.
I understand.
Them and
he said,
Oregon State.
He said they're still alive.
Yeah,
they're still alive. So
Arkansas just brooms out. North Carolina, nah, we're not scared, and they're still my pick. Gonna ride it.
Andrew says Wheelie is going to beat Carla.
Wiley's gonna kick Carla's ass.
What did Carla do to her? What did she take her boyfriend?
She has the belt.
Oh, it's a UFC thing.
Whaley's gonna take her head off. I don't know what the lines are gonna be for that Whaley Carla fight. I got to assume Whaley's gonna be minus 400, something like that. It's very rare you have a challenger that's the overwhelming favorite over the champion, but Whaley's gonna take her head off. I don't see a way around it.
Andrew says, nice Arkansas pick. Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about this Arkansas team as a perennial powerhouse. We thought there was a ton. In fact, I think that was probably our favorite play.
It was. They had roughly the same odds as East Carolina.
Yeah.
But they were the number 1 team last year. Of course, they lost some pieces, but they still had an overall solid team. And they were entering the actual weekend. They were what? Like the 8th best team in the country? The 7th best team? Or somewhere around there?
Somewhere in that neighborhood, yeah.
So you're going to give them to me at 25-1? Like, sure. You can argue revenge tour, whatever you want. But I do believe that Arkansas might not win the whole thing, but I knew they were good enough to get past North Carolina, and they were.
Do you think Izzy keeps his belt for July 2nd?
I really do like Cannonier as a fighter because of the power, but I think Izzy's just too fast. It's one thing for Cannonier, who was a much heavier weight, to move down, and he managed to maintain the power. But the issue is, I just think Izzy's going to be a little bit too fast. The main flaw in Izzy's game is going to be wrestling, and Cannonier doesn't wrestle that much. So if you want to talk about a stand-up fight, I think Izzy's going to throw more volume. So I think it's going to be a decision. I think that Izzy's going to keep distance and try to avoid being in the way of the Cannonier bombs that he's going to throw. But I think there is a reason why Izzy's about minus 350. I just think he'll keep distance. And if I was betting the fight, I would take Izzy by decision.
Fair enough. J.C. Stone said East Carolina had that second game, 1 bad pitch, 3-run jack. Good night, Pirates. And he is exactly correct. That is 100% accurate, as East Carolina pretty much led that game the entire way until they didn't. So
it was, well, that happened, and then you had game 3, which was prolonged agony because you had a rain delay for about 7 hours.
Right.
Earl brothers were chilling there knowing the season was over, but they had to delay the inevitable for about 7 hours. That's pretty rough.
Brutal indeed. So
for the record, I'm assuming you agree with me tonight that after the beatdown that Stanford put on UConn yesterday, Stanford probably doubles it up tonight.
I gotta think so.
Yeah.
That's
why I give Notre Dame a bunch of props. I love Tennessee in game 2. I just figured that Tennessee, after losing game 1, they also had some momentum. They were down game 1 by like 8 runs. They cut it to 3. So they got the bats going a little bit. I thought they were going to kill Notre Dame in game 2. They did. And I thought that, Tennessee would win game 3 too. And they did not. So props to Notre Dame and everything that happened there. But UConn held on in game 1. They almost blew an 11-run lead, but they held on. And then Stanford kept the bats moving. I got to assume Stanford wins tonight by 3-4 runs.
Yeah, I'm looking at alternative runs.
Because even the UConn win, all momentum went to Stanford because they almost punted an 11-run lead. So that's how I'm looking at it.
J.C. Stone said you tailed the Arkansas bet. Also got A&M and Mississippi.
Ole Miss, though, dominated.
Yeah.
Southern Miss over the weekend.
Yeah, against a quote-unquote better team there in Southern Miss. So
that was at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, one more thing, Scott. We got a new code for our Caesars promo, so make sure you stop by and check that out if you haven't done so already. It is the good folks at Caesars offering you free bet insurance on your first bet up to $1,100, and you just have to put the code in CZR15, CZR15. You know the drill, all the usual parameters apply. Must be available in your state. You must be 21 to play, except in Wyoming and New Hampshire, where you got to be 18. First-time depositors, first-time bettors only. And, yeah, it is just what it sounds like. They'll make your first bet good up to $1,100. If you lose it, it's no harm, no foul. So pick out a game where you've got a good feeling about it and load up. Take advantage of that promo. The code is in the description of today's video, along with the address that'll take you right to it. So, Scott, a lot of things happened over the weekend. We've kind of alluded to a couple of them, but let's make it official, man. It's Monday. It is time. Let's break it down, everybody. We'll find out who were the winners, who were the whiners. Let's find out right now on the Monday edition of Call the Cops. Grooving out to the siren again, huh, Scott?
Yep.
Very good. Very good, buddy. All right, well, let's get it started as we are wont to do in the major leagues. This is from Saturday. It's the Red Sox money line against the Mariners. Scott was on it. They led 6-5, 2 outs, 2 strikes, bottom of the ninth. They just get the last strike and the game's over. It's cool. Oh, no. No, I'm sorry. This is on Call the Cops. RBI single. That'll do, pig. They lose 7-6 to the Mariners.
It was plus 114 as well, which was just rough. But end of the bat, Toro bloop single. I think Toro's batting like 210 this season, but is what it is. And looking at a play that I know my co-host had, if you had Glover Teixeira in the UFC main event on Saturday.
Plus 165.
Plus 165 against Yuri Prohaska. I believe decision was, I want to say 14-1, potentially. He led on 2 scorecards entering the final round. The other scorecard, it was a tie, and he was winning the 5th round, so he would have easily won the fight by decision. Only thing that cannot happen is him to get stopped. And Glover Teixeira, the second-degree black belt, got submitted by a guy with no jiu-jitsu pedigree whatsoever with a very impressive 28 seconds left. Rip up your Glover tickets.
Just fucking ridiculous.
That was an all-time great fight, though. All-time fight.
Very good fight. I was doing some other stuff. I just made it back for a little bit of this, the co-feature, and then got to see that fight and got a bet down on it. I went, wait a minute, what now? Plus 165. That seems too good to be true. And, of course,
it kind of was too good to be true. It should have been a pick 'em. That fight was complete chaos.
Oh, all right. So, because I know I texted you after round 2, and I said, who won that round? And you're like, I have no idea. Okay.
Because it seemed like the rounds were similar, where Yuri had like 2 minutes where he was doing really well.
Right.
And then the final 40 seconds of every round, Glover was on top of him, punching his head. And it's like, I don't know how to grade this.
Yeah. I don't know. You graded against the guy that got hit by a couple of right crosses, or do you got take with the takedown and you're beating the shit out of him? I don't know.
Personally, I had it 2-2 going into round 5. One judge had a 10-8 in there for Glover, which I didn't see personally. But
no, I didn't see any 10-8s.
Or 10-8 for Yuri, which I didn't see. But either way, I thought Glover was going to win the fight because he was clearly winning round 5. But I thought it was tied going into the 5th.
I thought a couple of rounds could have gone 10-8 if it weren't for the last 2 minutes where Teixeira got him on the ground.
10-8 means the other person showing no resistance at all. There was a lot of ebbs and flows, so I didn't see any 10-8s.
Agreed. All right, finally, Sunday. Nice recovery. I'm back. Let's get it, and let's play a little Rangers White Sox under 8.5. 6 runs the first 9 innings. Oh God, it's tied 3-3. Well, you just need. Can we just have a 1-run walk off? Would that be possible? We got a man on second base. Let's just end it. No, Scott. Can I interest you in 8 more runs? The game landed 14. You don't even hardly remember how long it's been since you had that over 8.5 or under 8.5. Doesn't matter. It's a loser. Call the cops.
Yeah, I feel like the whole summary of the weekend for the White Sox is La Russa getting absolutely embarrassed by the Rangers. Can I say that? That it didn't help though that Kopech only threw 13 pitches.
No, that did not help at all. Well, I had him faded there, so it helped me.
I like the Rangers because I mean the White Sox were laying a big price. I know John Gray isn't good, but I mean based on the White Sox form and all the chaos going on with La Russa, I'm not laying that big of a price with the White Sox.
Rangers tried to give it away, did their best. They let the White Sox come back a couple times.
Well, that was funny though because the Rangers ended up letting the White Sox come back. Then they led by 3 in the 11th inning. They gave up 3 in the bottom of the 11th, and they held on anyway to win in the 12th.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so, big weekend for us. There was some good news out there, Scott. Maybe this is something that some of our viewers were on the right side of. Those nice, easy wins. You can put it in your pocket early. Start clicking the buy button on your Amazon wish list because you, my friend, you're chilling like the villain in the rocking chair.
So the first one, if you had the Yankees minus 1.5 against the Cubs, they led 8-1 after 2 innings, and it only got worse from there for the Cubs because they scored 18 runs and won 18-4.
Not good. Not good, Bob. If you had the Diamondbacks on the money line against the Phillies, Diamondbacks off to an early lead, 3-0 after 1 run, after 1 inning, and it didn't get much better for the Phillies. That Phillies bullpen, when they're bad, they're really bad, Scott, and Diamondbacks end up winning that one 13-1.
And the last one, if you had the Red Sox Mariners under 9 on Sunday, 2 runs in the 8th inning, and no runs in the other 8 innings. Game ended 2-0.
Yep. There you go. All right. Well, we got to talk about this. We've alluded to it a little bit, but once again, we're going to make this official. Scott, we haven't done one of these in a while, but this one certainly deserves it. A lot of hype, and a lot of cockiness, arrogance from this team.
The dream team, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what they would tell you. Let's find out. Over the weekend, some bad things happened. But we're not mad. We're just disappointed. That's the double.
It does deserve 2, to be honest.
That's the double. That's the double right there. So, Scott, Tennessee Volunteers were the prohibitive favorite, not just in their own regional, but the tournament as well, the World Series, #1 seed for the majority of the season. Notre Dame coming to town, warm weather team versus cold weather team. That doesn't usually go well. And Scott, the Golden Domers, or the Golden Cappers in this case, they jumped up and they give the Vols everything they wanted and a little bit more. See you later, Volunteers. You're back to Rocky Top.
It's the equivalent of a 1 seed losing in about the round of 32.
Mm-hmm. I'd call that a great analogy. I think that's exactly right.
So, not ideal. Tennessee should have boycotted the game since it was Sunday, so Notre Dame should have been in church.
All right, that's an interesting.
There you go.
That's an interesting take.
I mean, Tennessee. There's really not much to say. I mean, you're that big of a favorite. I don't remember Notre Dame being a baseball powerhouse in my book. Do you remember that? Because I don't. I didn't get the memo on that.
No, I don't. I don't recall them. A lot of trips to the College World Series is what I'm saying. So
yeah, Notre Dame looked good though as a team, but it wasn't even just the fact that Tennessee struggled because you'll lose the opening game, stuff like that happens. But they also led in Game 3, and then the bullpen completely imploded. So
couldn't get it done.
Yeah, really just an embarrassing performance. I believe entering the weekend, they were plus 130 to win the whole thing. Pretty sure.
I think that sounds right. Yeah, I think we were looking at. So
and you can just rip that up.
We thought that was a ridiculous price
for baseball.
Yeah, you're kidding me, right?
Yeah,
no. And we said it.
That's a crazy price.
We said it at the time. We didn't say they were going to lose to Notre Dame. However, we did say that was a terrible, terrible deal.
The two teams for value was Arkansas, who already advanced, and Oregon State, who might advance, might not advance. We'll see. But especially baseball, it's not like college football where you can just bet on the favorites and they're going to be in it.
Right.
No, that doesn't happen. So
sometimes
Tennessee
it does, a lot of times. Yeah.
Tennessee was being advertised as one of the best college baseball teams of all time. And based on the record and the talent and the Ben Joyce 104-mile-per-hour fastballs, you can have an argument. But the argument went out the window because they lost in Knoxville 2 times out of 3.
See, the problem with the college baseball, you got to have 3 good starters.
Yeah.
Or at least 2. You got to have 2 out of the 3 that are going to get you wins. And you got to have a bullpen that's not going to puke on their shoes. And, yeah, they weren't able to pull it off. So, very disappointing, Tennessee Volunteers. We'll see you next season. So, yeah, there was something else that happened over the weekend, Scott. This one wasn't particularly good news, but it did.
It was also a terrible race.
It was, but it did validate my race after, as I took this guy a week early. Let's find out who it is. You guys might have seen this race. Clear those spit valves. Get ready to blow the trumpets, kids. Let's learn in the Monday edition of the Gambling Hero of the Day. Solid as a rock. Well, Scott, I believe it was St. Louis where I took Daniel Suarez. It was last week, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's what I thought. I took Daniel.
I think you and Rye both took Suarez.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken.
Well, we had him a week early because he stepped up on the Sonoma Road Course, picked up his first Cup win ever, first win for a Mexican-American driver, as he was plus 25 hundo to win the race at Sonoma, and that's exactly what he did. Scott, that was overall, I think, our worst performance as a team.
Once again, it depends on how you grade it, because the show and how we grade everything, not good. But I more heavily weigh the matchups personally in my week-to-week handicap. So Cindric got there for me. So it could have been worse, but it wasn't a good race for us and really for the fans. I'm happy for Suarez. People love him. He seems to be a very likable guy. But it was an awful race. Like, really, really bad.
Now, what does that mean to you? Or what do you mean?
There was no competition. I mean, you can look through the final 10 laps. Suarez was, 5 seconds up on second place?
Yeah.
It was bad.
No late caution, no green-white checker, nothing, none of that.
No. There was one crash late. I think it was...
Well, Allmendinger spun.
He fixed it,
but he kept it going.
I think it was Larson who lost a wheel, and they ended up. But that was like 15 laps left. So no, I mean on the road courses you don't typically see that many cautions because it takes about 3 minutes to do a lap, so you can get off the track by then.
But, and that's the bad thing about Larson. His they get fined, and his crew chief has to miss 4 races. To quote Kenny Rogers, "You picked a fine time to leave me, loose wheel." Not good at all. We've seen a few of those this season. So,
but I don't like the road courses. Sonoma is one of my least favorite tracks personally. But props to Suarez. You know, I had a really funny moment there. Harvick was in second with like 50 laps to go, and I actually bet Harvick at like 5-1. And then 2 laps later, he was in third place, and I hit the cash out option. So I just voluntarily handed over $50. I looked over, and I'm like, oh, there's no chance in hell he's winning. Just immediate cash out, take the $50. Like, all right, whatever. I got out of Dodge.
All right, very good. Let's check in with the comment section here. McElroy gave me the pucker. He tried his hardest to give it away to JT. JP complete meltdown on 18 certainly was. Yep, nice hit. JC for sure. What did he hit back there? Did he miss it?
No, he hit Rory.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
That was a pretty crazy Sunday. You're looking at the actual scores. McElroy shot what did she do? 62 or something.
Yeah.
Thomas shot somewhere in the low 60s. Justin Rose was like 11 under through 14 holes. I'm like, what is happening?
Going nuts. And meanwhile, would you call the LIV tournament a success?
I haven't watched it, but if people can bet it, then I think it's been a success for us because there's more stuff to talk about.
Have you seen the meme with intercut with Adam Sandler driving the ball?
Yes, I have.
Hitting the Spectator. It's pretty funny.
The Spectator, though, all-time great dive.
Yeah,
great dive.
should be playing soccer.
But it's weird though, because they did a team format, and I'm like, well, what is this?
It's the newest thing, man.
I get it. It's just like you're trying to do a couple tournament, except you put like 4 people on a team. I'd rather just see 1v1v1, basic normal golf. But maybe that's just me.
Yeah, no, you like to see the match play, the odd formats that they use every once in a while on the tour, a couple times a season.
Occasionally, but I'm also fine if you want to do it in pairs. But the key word is pairs. Like, you only need 2 people on a team. You don't have to really stretch it out.
Okay, very good. Joan wants to know how the movie was. What movie did you go see?
I saw Top Gun like
a
week and a half ago.
I watched that. I watched Top Gun at home. I watched that over the weekend.
The original or the new one?
No, the new one.
I'm assuming you agree with me. It was a good sequel. I think people around are a little bit too high on it, but it was solid.
It was fine. It was
what I thought.
If you liked the first Top Gun, you'll like the second Top Gun. It was interesting.
They focused too much on the woman who owned the bar.
Once again, I thought the relationship was forced, and had no business, just like the first one with Kelly McGillis. There's no reason for that to exist. I mean, you got the
first one didn't bother me because at least they interacted. Like, they had some type.
No, that's true.
Whatever. This other one was just like, oh yeah, he's been going to this bar for like 20 years, and he had this thing with this woman. But we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to talk about what happens now.
Yeah,
it was. You can't half flush out a love story in a movie.
It was kind of weird. So, and again, I know a lot of people haven't seen it. I don't want to give too much away about the spoilers, but
I'm just saying that was one issue. The other one, are we sure it wasn't a Mission Impossible movie halfway through? Just saying, it had that feeling to it, didn't it?
Yeah, the chances of success and all that.
Let's try it again. All right, you guys are 0 for 30. Nailed it on the first try. Like, all right, like let's see what happens there. Okay, sure. But it was a good movie. Yeah. I recommend seeing it.
Yeah, I agree. If you like a good summer popcorn muncher with a lot of good action scenes and even better aerials and stuff, it's pretty cool. Do you go to the air shows when they come? Like, have you ever been to one, Scott, and seen those things fly in person?
I cannot say that I have.
It's crazy shit. I highly recommend it. Going to see if you get an air show. I'm sure they do them in New York. You got them close to you. Definitely go see like the Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels or whatever. It's fucking high quality shit. I highly recommend.
By the way, light underrated takeaway from the movie. Not many great punishments for insubordination, where they were doing the actual practice and everything like that, right? A little bit of insubordination and not enough punishment.
I think they loosen the rules a little bit apparently when you fly. So just
saying, it seemed like you could kind of do whatever you want out there. But
1777 says Hollywood doesn't make movies without a good love story. Well, they did. They did in Top Gun.
I was gonna say the thing is everyone tries to throw a relationship thing,
right.
But I feel like the one improvement Top Gun could have made was that the relationship was the bromance between Maverick and Goose.
Yes.
That was the only relationship people cared about. Like, you don't need a love interest when it's a bro movie, you know?
And you had the antagonist there with Val Kilmer and everything.
Yeah,
so.
And he had a nice cameo in the movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the point. If you're going to be making a movie which is like a guy's movie and how they all interact and whatever, you don't need the female love interest if it's about the relationship between the guys that are fighting, you know?
1777 said, I watched Carlito's Way this weekend and fast forward through the love scenes.
Nice.
You won't miss a thing. Have you ever seen Carlito's Way?
I have, but I like that approach though for future movies. Just skip all the love interest stuff and just go straight to the plot.
I don't like the mushy stuff.
I kind of do that on occasion with Netflix shows or whatever. Of course, you're gonna have at least like 2 sex scenes per either episode or like 1 per episode. Occasionally you just skip that.
Yep.
And it's just like, all right, like I know why you put it in here, but I kind of want to go back to the drug dealing. You know, like the reason why I'm watching the show. I don't need the love interest stuff. I have to
address this. This is the worst news I've heard all day. Joan says, I am sucked into the 100 on Netflix. Joan.
I don't even know that one.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Joan. My buddy and I got sucked in, I think, right as the pandemic started, and we watched it together. I recommended it to him after like 3 episodes. Oh my God. Oh, we are so mad. We are.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a dystopian thing where Earth is uninhabitable and they have to go live in space, and then they go back to Earth, and it's kids versus.
Sounds a little trippy.
Oh my god, dude! I'm so sorry, Joan. Yes, I totally understand it. You have to keep watching it. Hopefully, if you're not too far in, pull the ripcord. But if you make it to 100, let me know, because there's 100 episodes of the 100. It's yeah.
Was I wrong though? Like when you were watching Breaking Bad, for example, did you really care about Walt's relationship to Skylar?
Yeah.
Did you really care?
Yes, I really did.
Really?
Yes.
Even though she was just washing the money?
Well,
I wanted to see him make meth. That's all I cared about.
It was interesting.
Like,
it was interesting to see her journey as well.
I get it, but she was smoking while she was pregnant in season 2, and I'm just like, I don't care about you anymore.
Okay.
I just had enough. She was just complaining all the time.
I don't know
if
you
your complaints, but I'm in for the entertainment.
I don't know if you know this or not. Half a cigarette while you're pregnant, probably not going to kill you. Not going to.
She might have been on a couple packs a day, but whatever.
Okay.
Just saying,
All right.
I wasn't a big fan of Skylar. Just throwing it out there.
Oh, Jones on season 5. It's too late. That's way
too late.
Way too late. They've already gone. They've come back. Oh my God, Joan. Okay. Well, let me know when you're finished and let me know what you thought of it. So, would the 100 be better if you're stoned?
That's what I was basically wondering.
Yeah, probably. It probably
depends on the stone.
Yeah, very good. One good scene in Carlito. Yeah, early Pacino is Carlito's Way. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. One of the lesser known Pacino movies, directed by I want to say Brian De Palma. Is that right?
Yeah, it could be. It sounds like a good guess.
Very good. What do you got for tonight, bud? Anything?
I got a player prop on the NBA game. Spoiler: it's the same player prop I had for Game 4. I got Kevon Looney over 7.5 rebounds.
Okay.
Because I don't know why it's at 7.5. The main adjustment we said Golden State had to make was to play Looney more, and he played a series high 28 minutes, and he had 11 rebounds.
Yeah, but they didn't start. But they didn't start him.
No, they didn't start him. They tried Porter for 3 minutes at the center spot. Realized, wow, this is dumb, and they brought Looney in, and Looney was very good throughout the game.
It's like that when Dallas was trotting out. What's his fuck? That would start for Dallas.
Oh, Powell.
Powell, yeah. And he played like 8 minutes ago. Oh, yep, you still suck, and then you wouldn't see him for the rest of the game. It was a very
pretty much, but
similar thing.
The way that I saw it was he had 11 rebounds, and 9 were in the first half. So he really slowed down after halftime, but that could be viewed either way because he could have more in the second half, but less in the first half, and he still get there. But I don't know how it's 7.5 when he needs to play about 30 minutes because he's the only center Golden State has.
Yes, absolutely correct.
So,
yes, Joan, you've discovered the problem. You're absolutely correct.
You have any thoughts on the game tonight? I know that you have a play that you gave out yesterday.
I did. I took a play out of your book, buddy. I gave out a play from a day in the future, and
I respect that.
I did it by mistake. I'm not gonna lie. I could have just gone and said, "Well, you know what?"
Makes sense. You assume there's only one day off.
Of course,
extra days off in there.
It's Sunday. It's Sunday. What are we doing? Come on.
But all I know is I'm leaning Golden State tonight. I'm leaning to the under. On the podcast, I said it at about 212.5. I think it's down to 210.5 at this point.
It is.
But I like the under.
Chase that
steam. Looney rebounds.
Chase that steam.
I'm going to go with Golden State because truth is they should have won both games at home the first time around. They completely punted the fourth quarter in Game 1.
Yep.
I just wonder how many times Boston can absolutely punt a game they kind of need to have and respond well. And at some point, Golden State at home is going to shoot a lot better. I'm assuming the home team wins every game from here on out.
For this season, I'll take under 3 for how many more times that can happen to Boston.
Okay.
Yeah, it scares me. I'm with you. You and I have kind of been at odds, and we've usually split it up on these games so far.
I was right in Game 4. I took a hero call, and it worked out.
I'm on the same play. I've got Golden State, and I've got the under. I do think they're correlated. I think if Boston wins this one, I think your total probably goes over.
I agree.
I think it could. It's not as correlated on this side, but I do agree with you. But Golden State could win a shootout if it's somehow turned into that. We haven't seen any indication that that's going to happen, but it could go high and Golden State would win. I like that better than if it goes low, Boston winning, put it that way.
I think the main issue I have with Boston right now, besides the stuff that everyone's talking about with Tatum's bad field goal percentage and everything like that, they had a couple of days off, but Robert Williams retweaked the knee that's been bothering him.
Right.
So I don't know if he can actually move. I'm assuming he's still going to play 20-plus minutes because they kind of need him to. He's been the best defensive player. But if Williams is going to be even a step slow, then I have some serious problems because Williams has been so good both protecting the rim and on the glass. And we can really just say, besides Game 1, Horford's been basically useless. What has Horford done for the entire series besides Game 1?
Yeah, that's really it. And it really just almost, that was just one good quarter, really. So, yeah, I don't... Tatum shooting well, yeah, but that's not enough.
Oh, he's shooting about 34% from the floor. I believe right now he has the worst field goal percentage in NBA Finals history for players attempting 20-plus shots per game. It's the worst in the history of the NBA Finals.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, saw that on Twitter the other day.
Oh, I'm just looking. Oh, okay, I'm just looking postseason.
He's shooting about 34% from the floor. That's not good.
No, it's not. He's shot decently in the playoffs, not outstanding, but the Golden State has been able to do a number on him now. And a lot of that was driven off of the first game he shot 17%. So
yeah, I remember Billy was mentioning it. Tatum shooting about 45% from 3. He's shooting 29% from 2. 29%. Maybe you should stop taking 2-pointers. Maybe. Change something up.
He's the anti-Smart.
Pretty much. Well, Smart's had 2 good games in a row, which means he's in line to be terrible tonight.
Yep, very good. Go Longhorns. Where's Tim Earl?
He's in mourning.
Yeah, he probably is. Marlo says it's a must-win for both teams. Now what do you do? It's a must-win for both teams, Scott. What do you do?
Well, I'm assuming you'd agree it's a bigger game for Golden State because, of course, it's a lot easier to win an elimination game at home in Game 7 compared to on the road in Boston for Game 6.
Yep, that's what they say. So we'll see. 17-77, really trying to make the case for Tatum in Boston.
Well, the argument is if Tatum shoots even decently, Boston should probably be up 3-1 or 4-0 right now because Tatum's been so bad. Actually, no, Game 2, he actually shot okay. So they need Tatum to not be awful in the fourth quarter of games. And Jaylen Brown's been pretty good. The issue is Boston has decided late in games they will ride or die with Jason Tatum. And they tell Brown, stand there in the corner. And they let Tatum dribble the ball for 18 seconds and take a crappy shot.
Yep.
So they need to change up their offensive execution late in the fourth quarter. I think Brown should get the ball more late in games. We'll see what happens. But for me, I'm leaning Golden State. I think the crowd's going to help out, but Golden State's been there before. They know the magnitude of the game. And at some point, I think Boston's going to stumble and not be able to get up. So
Bronco Devil brings up a great point. It's hard to beat a team 4 times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, 4 times in a row.
Somebody's gonna do it.
Isn't that how this whole thing started? It was 3 times in a season, so that would imply that you're undefeated against that particular opponent.
Yeah, good point.
Remember, Billy, you can make the argument about Clay kind of similarly to the way you can make the argument about Tatum. If one of them shoots the ball efficiently, then their team's going to be in a much better spot. The issue is neither player's been efficient at all at any point in this game. So am I worried about Clay? Kinda. But I'm also worried about Tatum. So I feel like if Clay has one of these big games, Game 5 or Game 6, that might be all that Golden State needs to put them over the edge.
I agree. Bronco Devil says Golden State Warriors tonight at home. I agree with that. Clay don't rebound or have assists.
That's true, too. I mean, he's really a 3-pointer nothing guy.
Yeah. We're just writing off Draymond at this point?
I can't say that I'm writing him off because offensively, he wasn't going to give you much scoring anyway.
Okay.
7.5 points tonight. I got to like the under there. He did play well when he came back in after getting benched in the fourth quarter.
Right.
So I will give him props because the final 3 minutes or so, he was actually pretty solid. But I'm assuming Draymond is going to put up his classic 4 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds type game.
Leads the team in assists, by the way. 6.2.
Wouldn't surprise me.
6.2 per game. So,
but if you want to talk about Golden State and what they need moving forward, they really need Looney and Wiggins and all these guys to crash the glass.
Yes.
Because the story of the series, who's ever won the rebounding battle has won the game.
Yep, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Bill McDonald saying, echoing your sentiment, shot 25% from 2-point. That's not good.
I thought it was 29, but either way, if it's below 30, that's a serious problem.
What do you think on the first half? I got no opinion on it. You got to play on the first half. I think it's close.
Golden State, I was going to say, Golden State, we know gets off to a bunch of slow starts, but you're hoping the crowd can maybe get them off to a decent start. The first quarters have been pretty high scoring in this series. I think it's actually going to be more low scoring tonight.
Okay.
I'm going to lean to the under in the first half and the full game. I just see a situation where you see an absolute slugfest tonight where both teams are going to try to kill each other. I like the under. I think you'll see a low-scoring game.
And you're pointing out the Celtics haven't lost 2 in a row in 2.5 months. Do you care about that?
Well, both these teams have been very good off a loss. I know Golden State's undefeated off a loss this postseason.
Right.
But Tampa was 17-0. They
Yep.
lost to the Rangers in Game 2. You know, at some point, the streak is as good as it until the streak is amazing until it loses.
Right.
I just don't know how many times Boston can live dangerously and rely on bounce-back games when they consistently punt games at home.
I would also posit that games at the beginning of April have a little bit different feel to them than games in the middle of March with just a maximum of 3 games left in your season.
Yeah, and I really want to monitor the knee of Robert Williams. I would have been all over the rebound props and everything like that for him, but when you tweak the knee that's been bothering you for a month, I kind of wonder how much of your presence is a full decoy.
So, is there a little value in that first half number with 210.5 being the total? First half is 102.5. It's kind of unusual in the NBA, isn't it, Scott?
It's very unusual, especially with the high-scoring first quarters. I think it's a little trappy. I'm going to lean to the under.
Okay. All right, very good. Somebody asked early in the show about Arizona or about Kansas City and San Francisco tonight. Any thoughts there as Brady Singer goes for the Royals?
I have a choice between taking the Giants and the Royals. Blind called Giants, but if you actually want to break down on it, Alex Wood's been meh. Singer's been hit or miss. Kind of they're in the same boat. But the Royals are 8-18 away.
Yep.
So I don't know if I want to lay 145 with the Giants. I would probably look for a Giants team total over or a Giants run line because the Royals did not pitch too well against Baltimore.
They've been bleeding runs, buddy. Runs. So, yeah, very good. First quarter and first half over, says G Money.
Once again, I'm not going to have a play on the first half or anything like that, but I'm leaning Golden State full game.
I'll play first quarter over where you give me 51.
Yeah, it's 51.5.
Okay. Yeah, I'll play that. Bronco Devil says taking the points in the parlay with the Jays and the Braves. I'm okay with that. The fucking Toronto should win that one, but they should have won when I backed them on Saturday. So
they didn't win because you backed them on Saturday.
What's that?
They did not win because you backed them.
That is correct. That is exactly the point I'm making. So
yeah,
they had the advantage there too. We'll see. I don't hate it. Bronco says he's got the Giants. Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Manoah, so you're going to get no arguments from me on Toronto.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, my friend. Well, we'll get it rolling here as we are wont to do.
Is that a sleeper candidate, by the way, for the Cy Young, Manoah?
Yeah, so far.
I mean, he's 7-1, 1.81 ERA. You know, Toronto's going to give him run support. I don't mind it.
You got a number
I
on
saw
it?
Cortez struggle a bit.
See numbers lately?
What I can get. Sorry, what do you ask?
I said you got any? You don't see any?
I'm checking. I know the NL. I was a big fan of Alcantara.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks ago, and since then, I still don't think he's given up a run. So I think he's down from 8-1 to 4-1, or 6-1 right now.
Right.
Let me see what I can get for AL. But the point is, NL. You know who the front runners are. You're gonna have Burns. You're gonna have Alcantara. You're gonna have a couple of guys who you know should be there. There's really no one in the AL you're thrilled with. Like McClanahan's the favorite at plus 350 because he's leading in strikeouts.
Yeah.
Verlander's at 4-1. Manoah's at 8-1.
Yeah, I think
8-1 for a guy who's going to get you a decent amount of run support and for a guy who's been solid. I don't mind that value at 8-1.
And stop lamenting the fact you could have got him at 30-1 a month ago or whatever. You got to fucking.
And Alcantara, by the way, is the favorite right now at plus 350.
What do you call that when you put that in the pot, Scott? And money is what?
I don't know where you're going.
Well, it's like a sunk cost. It's not.
Oh, okay.
You can't think of I already have this much money in the pot. That money's gone. It's not yours anymore. It's in the pot.
Yeah, James, I hate to tell you, by the way, I did not get lucky on the UFC pick because I lost. So.
Yep. Very good. All right, Scott. Well, let's get to it. There's only one thing left to do here on this beautiful Monday, and that is talk about the play that we like the very, very most. You guys know what time it is. Time to put on those overalls, grab your straw hat, put them atop your head. Hopefully you'll look as good as Scott and I do in ours. Climb aboard your John Deere, get out those keys, put them in the ignition, and fire that bad boy up because, ladies and gentlemen, you know it, you love it. It is once again time to bet the farm.
Gotta play the sound, man.
All right, Scott, there you go. There you have it. We did have afternoon, everybody. We did have a farm play on Friday, I believe the first from this realm. And how'd it go, Scott?
So we had a WNBA play. Gave out the Liberty team total over 80.5. Clearly Steen's play. I had nothing to do with it, but the Liberty scored 97 points. It was never in doubt.
Never in doubt. Cue the banjos. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
All right, very good, my friend. A little Liberty-Bibberty action for us indeed. And we've got another play cooked up today. Scott, what do we got?
So we're going to go to baseball, look at a matchup between the Reds and the Diamondbacks. We're going to take the Diamondbacks. Team total over 4.5 at around minus 125. Diamondbacks have been great offensively recently. Arizona has scored at least 5 runs in 5 of its last 6 games. Cincinnati, we know the pitching's not good and it has been awful lately. The Reds have allowed at least 5 runs in 5 of their last 6 games. Plus, this will be the 5th meeting between these teams this season. Arizona in the first 4 meetings has scored at least 5 runs in 3 of them, so they have done well against Cincinnati's pitching staff. And Mike Minor is on the mound for Cincinnati, and he's been awful. 2 starts this season, 8 1/3 innings pitched, 8.64 ERA. We know the Cincinnati bullpen is also awful, so there's a couple ways for them to get over. But after scoring 13 runs yesterday, we think some of that offense carries over into Monday. Give us the Diamondbacks team total over 4.5.
Very good. Yep, you hit the main reason on the head for me. Mike Minor has been awful. This Cincinnati Reds bullpen has been not good as well. So, yeah, big fan of this play. Arizona Diamondbacks team total over 4.5, minus 120. That's going to do it for the farm, kids, and that's going to do it for today's show. We do thank everybody for stopping by. Don't forget we're available in podcast form as well. There's a day where you can't watch the show, or maybe you weren't able to catch it live. You're driving home. We're available to all your favorite podcast forms. Make sure you get over to your favorite podcast distributor and get subscribed, rate, and review us, all that stuff. So, as for today, I got one in the can, guys. You guys have been fantastic as always. Thanks for all the input. Thanks for all the great comments, and we appreciate the eyes. Don't forget to spread the word. Tell your friends. Available on the Max Wagers Network only now going forward, so that's where you'll find us. Every day when we do this, we do our very best, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, to help you guys in that journey to head back to the window. Take care, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.